What's going on, you guys? This is Cooked Vegetables back in the cuts with yet another podcast. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing absolutely amazing wherever you happen to be in the world today. The title of today's podcast is going to be The Gold-Plated Divine Armor of Masculine Purity. Before we get into the actual body of the message, if you could hit that like button for me, I'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. The awakened amongst us know that our world, as of 2026 AD, is a middle plane of sorts, where the most magically beautiful people and experiences coexist with their demonic and evil polar opposites. As a result of this stark duality of our world, most prudent and wise men seek ways to protect themselves from evil and ruin. Most of us men attempt to protect ourselves and the things we love through the use of methods based solely on physical reality. I don't know about you lot, but before I committed to the path of masculine purity, I was the guy who tried to get the last word of every argument. My sinful pride compelled me to try to quote-unquote defend myself against multiple people who were clearly just looking for an emotional reaction from me rather than true solution. This method of prideful defiance worked for a majority of my tweens and early 20s. Looking back on my behavior back then, I was a prideful man who indulged in pretty much all the trappings of my flesh. This method of getting by worked well for me until I started getting ganged up on. At this point, I found it impossible to win, as I was literally constantly getting outnumbered in these sorts of situations. My confidence and pride suffered immeasurably due to the many losses I sustained in the power struggles I kept finding myself in. This continued until I reached my wit's end, which for some reason motivated me to start reading the Holy Bible as a hobby to take my mind off of things. Spending all those evenings reading the Holy Book eventually brought me to a deep spiritual realization concerning the true nature of spiritual protection from the wiles of evil. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verses 11, men of God are urged to put on the full armor of God to stay protected from the fiery darts of evil. In Isaiah 54, verse 17, we are also promised that none of the weapons fashioned against us would prosper. However, what I was missing at the time, and what so many good-natured people constantly miss, is that the promises the Most High makes to us are conditional. He requires obedience and righteousness for those promises to take effect. If you are anything like me, your experiences make the last statement ring unmistakably true. You no doubt found that the weapons fashioned against the wanker version of you prospered and flourished. You also inevitably felt the bitter sting of the fiery darts of evil at way too high a frequency for comfort. In short, none of the promises in the Bible will ever apply to you until you live according to the laws, statutes, and commandments set forth therein. When you start to purify your life by giving up detestable sins such as lust, gluttony, pride, wrath, bitterness, envy, etc., you will find that the Almighty Father gives you a gold-plated armor of protection that shields you from all evil. Now please note that the weapons of evil may still form around you, but they will never prosper as long as you stay in righteousness. As a retainer, I have seen this happen so many times now that my faith in what I talk about here is ironclad. If anyone comes for you unjustly, it will inevitably backfire on them. The more pure and obedient you are to God's laws, the more spectacular the backfire will be on the perpetrators. It is important to note that you must also not take any joy or gloat in the misfortunes of others. God really doesn't like it when you do that. But it sure is nice to know that God has your back when you do His will. As a son of God, you are called to a high standard as a representative of His heavenly glory. This means that you must strive for better in everything that you do. Strive to be firm but kind. Strive to be clean and live in clean environments. Strive to dress well. Strive to be a man of strong character. Strive to develop your amazing talents and skills. Strive to be courageous and just. Strive to be a humble yet strong leader who looks out for his people. Strive to eat clean, and most of all, seek the Lord your God daily with all your might, for He, and only He, is the true source of your sustenance and strength. Till next time, brothers, keep your gold-plated armor on at all times as you march towards your incredibly important destiny. Godspeed, and remain blessed. Brother Cooked. As usual, remember to like the video on your way out. God bless you. Much love.